Yo, what's up guys? Jetxc here. Hopefully you guys have been doing good. Now, we're just going to dive straight into this because this patch note is a lot of really interesting information, particularly at the end. But we've got new upcoming characters for July, a hint at what's coming in August, some quality of life that we already know about, and we're going to be going over the leak about the cow bikini for Therese. And we're also going to be going over survey results and some stuff about the collab. So this is going to be pretty big. So let's just get into it. I'm going to try and summarize everything I can, but I want to read this. So it's already been a month since our broadcast for the second Annie. Thanks to the enthusiastic support from all regions, both development team and the business team spent June with gratitude. Once again, we extend our sincerest gratitude. So this is basically saying that June for them was a really good month. That's really what that tells me, that they're so happy with everything that they're like, yo, amazing. Okay, let's get into it. So we got Story Pack 18 Salvation. This is going to be starring Kalien. We already know what happened with what happened in the last chapter. I won't spoil. But yeah, you can kind of read the whole thing yourself if you want to. You can kind of pause that and read it if you want. But yeah, here are some of the story snippets to see the field, right? And then here's another one. And then they show this. This was from the, if you guys remember, they now show the full image, but this is from the second anniversary. This is the full image here. So obviously that is Justia and Kalien. So new seasonal event, Going Home. Now this is going to be the seasonal event. They also talked about this. This is going to follow the chronicles of Olivier, right, and her past. So this is going to be, it looks really good. They said you can keep your expectations high as you'll be able to witness Olivier's endless struggles to protect those who needed protection despite her cruel fate. So this seems to be a really good one that they're going to be cooking up. We got some appearances from Rafitia and Grenadier here. We've got some images that they showed, right? Pretty cool. And we got a dark image right here as well. And we got the transformation, it seems like, into Kalien, right? So anyway, they introduced the characters, right? So we have the first introduction of the character Kalien, and I really advise you guys to like really blow up these photos and take a look, because again, the detail that they have, Nikke does this too, obviously, but like the veins on the characters and like the see-through of the designs of the cloth is insane. But we've got an introduction to the character Olivier, right? Here comes the star of July's Story Pack 18 and the seasonal event, Going Home. She's the legendary Valkyrie renowned for the epithet Faithful Servant, as well as being the mother of Justia. We give Olivier, we give you Olivier the Wings of Faithfulness, who's set to make her appearance. Please keep in mind that the pickup for Olivier Wings of Faithfulness is scheduled for second half of 2025. So essentially, I'm assuming sometime in, like, if not August, probably not August, September maybe. But yeah, let's keep it going here. So I'm gonna zoom in for you guys so you can kind of see my screen. So here we have Kalien, and oh my god, I'm telling you, when you guys look at the patch notes yourselves, just look at the detail. It is amazing. She looks great, right? But we already knew what Kalien looked like. So Kalien, the mighty apostle who loses her memory to Azir and acts as the first apostle, will be updated as a new costume. Apostle Kalien's battle concept revolves around granting beneficial effects to herself. So one person told me, hey Jet, do you think these are two different characters? And I get what they're saying, for the simple fact that, you know, it's a different name, Kalien, and then a different name, Olivier. I do think they're going to be the same character, right? Because Olivier is Kalien, so I wouldn't really worry about that. I think they would have told us if they were like separate characters, but again, Olivier and Kalien are still the same person essentially. So, and we'll learn about how she basically became Kalien, but obviously she lost her memory, so that's really the hint there, right? Okay, now a new character, which we saw a little hint at in the story trailer that was showed a couple days ago, but here she is. We have a to be announced character, and oh my gosh, I gotta scroll down because I don't want anything bad to happen. But yeah, as you can see, I will just make sure you pause it at that moment. But yeah, she, oh my god. Her design is insane, guys. She's literally wearing no top. It is absolutely insane. And she looks super good. Really, really good. Again, the detail with the veins and everything, it's insane. The strongest and most fearsome Valkyrie with pitch black wings of darkness will be updated. You can find more details by digging into Story Pack 18. She features a unique wide attack range and combat enemies by inflicting formidable damage through special means. Then we have Grenadier. Here is Grenadier here. Okay. The Queen of Glutties and the Queen of Glutties and the one who helped Rafitia and Browndust. Grenadier will be available in the season event. Please look forward to Grenadier's exploits, who came to the Fairy Kingdom to protect the fairies. And they make a note here that Grenadier will not be released as a playable character at this time. Right? So don't expect anything in relation to Grenadier. And then we got Hansen, which if you saw in those pictures that were shown up earlier, Hansen seems to have grown up in Oliver's story, but Hansen is going to be a character in the story. We introduce you to the wizard who handles pure mana and a fairy researching scholar, excuse me. Hansen, a human boy, will appear as a character in the seasonal event. Although he is a male character, we decided to include him because he plays a crucial role in the story. Hansen will not be released as a playable character. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm like still waking up a little bit. But yeah. So Hansen seems pretty cool. He will be in the story event with Olivier. So we'll see how that goes. Now, here's some skill cutscenes. So here are the images for the skill cutscenes. I'm just going to go through them real quick. I guess I'll see if I need to really do anything with them. But here we go. So this is the new character. Right? That is how she looks in a still cut. The art team mentioned when she makes her mind up, no one escapes alive. And then we got Kalien, right? Kalien over here with the womb tattoo. My goodness. Insane. She looks great. And then the art team says, single line comment, ever wonder what a new city would look like in a fantasy world? Question mark. So I guess that's hinting at what this whole thing is going to look like when you see our skill cutscene. So both art comments seem pretty interesting from the art team. So yeah. We've got the pickup information. Now, they don't give us any information, but we know that next week, July 17th, let me make sure. Yeah. I'm guessing July 17th should be Kalien. And then July 31st should be the Valkyrie girl, the black-haired Valkyrie. Positive, because they said that Olivier will be available later in the second half. So, yeah, that's going to be my guess. Kalien here, and then the black Valkyrie girl here, and then Olivier later on, right? So, we'll see. And then, of course, we've got the gear that's going to be announced. Now we've got Fiend Hunt. The new Fiend Hunt, we got Bluebeard coming back, and we've got a new Fiend Hunt appearing. The Chimera of Resentment, and it's a Darkness Fiend. So, you know what that means? That the character that's going to be coming out for this Fiend Hunt is going to be light. So, again, I'm assuming it's going to be Kalien, guys. Okay, and we got Guild Raid. This is going to be a non-property unit or enemy, so this will be an interesting Guild Raid regardless. Now, I'm going to really skip through and quickly summarize these because this was in the second anniversary live stream and patch notes. So these improvements are coming to the game July 17th, right? We have the option to basically start at any point in time for the Fiend Hunt. Now, this is probably one of the more important ones, and I'm going to read to you how it works. Instead of clearing the low-level stages one by one, you can select the level you want to clear, and all levels below it will be considered cleared, allowing you to receive corresponding rewards all at once. However, the max level you can freely select is 10. And this is how it works. For example, if level 10 Fiend Hunt has 100 HP and level 9 Fiend Hunt has 80 HP, and you challenge level 10 Fiend Hunt and deal 90 damage, which is 10 over the 80 for level 9, that means you cleared level 9. So you will get the rewards from all the way up from 1 to 9, and then the level 10 Fiend Hunt will remain at the 10 HP. As a result, you'll receive all rewards from 1 through 9, along with the rewards for challenging level 10 all at once. You can perform quick battle the next day on the level 10, and it'll have 10 HP remaining just as before. So, great new system. Clearly, I think everyone's going to be happy with this. And another good thing that they talked about and I'm just going to briefly talk about it. But they are extending the ranking system. So instead of the top 1,000, we're going to have like triple S and then SS, which is 1,001 up to 5%. And then there's going to be S, which is 6 to 10%. I'm going to guess if you can beat level 10, I think you're already going to be in the top 5%, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, a nice little cool thing to get rewards and 3 tickets and some refining powder. So yeah, let's take a look here. Or refining crystal, excuse me. But yeah, that's the new hunter rank system that they got going on. Gluppy Diner, if you guys remember, they talked about this, but Gluppy Diner is seeing some improvements. There's going to be a bunch of events that will happen in the Gluppy Diner. And if you interact with those events, you'll be getting deco coins. So essentially, if you want deco coins, you can participate. If you don't care for it, you don't have to participate, right? So yeah, that's what they explained there. Right, so you can collect maximum number of deco coins quickly right after entering the diner, and since this currency is used exclusively for decorating, only those interested need to participate. Also too, depending on the day, it will change from like morning to night depending on your time zone, and the BGM will also change based on the time zone as well. Okay, so let's keep going. We got Gluppy Diner improvements. What was this one about? Oh yeah, the view status message history feature will be added, allowing you to check previous status messages again. Additionally, if there are faded guests you haven't acquired, they will appear in your contact as a friend candidate. So cool. Battle UI improvements. When you're doing a recommended character or you're trying to switch your character, it will show clearly the well, let's read it real quick because this one's probably going to be important. The character thumbnail on the battle preparation will now display knockback direction, and then also information will also be viewable from the screen to replace companions. This feature has been basically a feature that a lot of people have asked for, and this is what it looks like. Pretty solid, right? Let's keep going. So we got a bunch of filter options here, so you can filter by costume, right? So when you're choosing a character, if you see here with Ustia, you can have it to where there's a filter option to show all the costumes for that character or for those characters. And if we keep going, here's another character filter. You can search by things like potential or awakening status, right? So that's another cool thing. You can also search by character icon and name. They talked about that in the 2nd anniversary. There is a more specific gear filter, so you can do certain gear, and you can see all the different ways to categorize tier 3, or excuse me, tier 4, tier 3, tier 1. Cool. Then you have the gear upgrade rank display. So this will be a visual way to see how high your gear is, right? Can you get that gear to 4812 SSS? Like how high is it based on what you're seeing, right? Typically people get BBS, which is really difficult to do. Anything after that, it's super hard in terms of rates, right? So it'll be a new way to kind of determine where you're at in terms of your weapon grade. So yeah, gear details. When you're looking at your gear, you can kind of spread out your gear information from a top-down view, and it'll show you the different stats: crit damage, attack percentage, health percentage, flat HP, all that stuff, and the substats. A nice little feature as well. Easier character growth. Basically, you can auto character growth, and it'll do everything for you from level 1 to 100. Okay, now let's get into the survey comments, guys. This is huge. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, but I really want to go over this. So I'm gonna have to read this whole thing. During the 2nd anniversary broadcast, we had planned to discuss certain aspects of the previous survey results, but unfortunately we ran out of time and we were unable to convey them. Today I will share a few. So this is the Goblin Slayer satisfaction survey. So let's check it out. First, we have a survey on the satisfaction with the previous collab event. The dissatisfaction rate is 53%, while the satisfaction rate is 43%. Right? Overall, the results showed disappointing results with high dissatisfaction. Ultimately, the biggest disappointment in this event was the low satisfaction with battle performance, the lack of impact in skill cutscenes, and the limitations on level of expression. First, let me start by sharing opinions on the battle balance. In the past collabs, Some players expressed concern because of overly powerful characters were virtually impossible for those who joined the game later than others. That was why we were careful with our character design this time. The initial figure proposed by the battle team were much stronger than the current state, but I requested several adjustments for safe balancing, which led to the current battle performance. So it was basically the director that was like, hey, this may seem a little bit too strong. So they had a different result in their head, but he wanted to further nerf Sword Maiden, right? And maybe some other characters. However, many players pointed out issues from the perspective of those who joined at the time of the event. New players joined the game solely because of the collab characters, but they were soon disappointed due to their low performance and ultimately lost interest in the game. And now I thought about this myself, and it does make sense, right? If you are like, okay, I love this series, I will try out this game based off of these characters, and then you're trying to learn the game and you realize, wow, wait, all these units suck compared to all the other units. And you kind of lose interest because you spent all your tickets on those characters as a new player, right? So it's an interesting kind of mix. It's really a conundrum to how to figure out the right balance, right? As such, I realized once again how difficult it is to achieve a balance that satisfies existing players, new fans, and potential demographic who will join us along the way. If we seize the opportunity to run another collab event, we will take notes from this case and strike a balance so that characters don't become too strong or weak. Next, we have your feedback on explicitness and limitations of expression. So listen to this. This is interesting. Currently, our options become extremely limited if we attempt to find a collaborative IP while maintaining our level of explicitness. We have a lot to think about, as the core purpose of holding collab events, attracting new players, may lose its momentum. So doing like I know a lot of people say, oh, High School DxD, Taimen and Asagi, you know, different redo healer. I think that one was mostly a joke, but it's like they want to be able to bring in new players with well-known IP that is somewhat recent or at least popular, right? So it's a little bit tough, and I know a lot of people would argue, oh, High School DxD is popular. Sure, but I think it just depends on how they're looking at it in comparison to something like Mushoku Tensei or Goblin Slayer. I do think DxD would be a good move on them, but yeah, they want to get something that will give their game some type of momentum and bring in a lot of eyes and new players. So listen to this. Therefore, we have decided to meet the demand for explicitness through original characters. We believe it would be more appropriate to stick to the original aim of collaboration events, focusing on ways to draw new players to our game through the intrigue and symbolism of two worlds clashing with one another. Of course, this has not been confirmed yet, but we will make a decision after careful consideration. So basically what they're saying, guys, is that they're going to literally all the original characters that will come out in Browndust2, whether they're from Browndust1 or they're new characters, they're going to satisfy that itch of just being very explicit no matter what, right? Whether it's cutscene or designs, they're going to be hot, or at least, you know, something of the sort. With the collab characters, here's the thing. I think there's still going to be fan service, in my opinion, right? They're still going to try and make it fan servicey, but it's not going to be as explicit as Browndust2, which we obviously can understand, right? It could be probably on the level of, like, I don't know, a Senran Kagura, but they may do an IP with something like, shoot, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something random. I think Overlord or something, or maybe Slime, right? And at most, maybe you get, like, a shirt being unbuttoned from one of the characters. Even though it has fan service, they can only go so far, and they want to keep that image of just collabing and seeing these two worlds collide in an event. So I can get that, and I think a lot of people understand that. It just depends. It depends on what they're collabing with, right? Because I think even with Sword Maiden and all the other character skill cutscenes, it still felt a little lackluster, but whatever decision they make, they just got to make sure they do everything right. So it's an interesting thing, right? I'm very sorry that the collaboration event failed to meet your expectations. We promise to prevent a better event next time. Now, let's keep going because we got some more interesting stuff. And this is actually some good news on the overall health of the game. Are there any existing features or game modes you'd like to see updated? Next, we have results on existing content you wish to update. 3 graphs stand out. Gluppy Diner is in first place. I believe this result includes opinions on adding faded guests, which is true. In addition, two pieces of pack content took second and third place, respectively. I recall that in the past surveys, story pack was rated higher than the character pack. In this survey, the character pack, that is, the parallel world pack, was rated higher. I've been saying this. In my opinion, their character packs are on par, if not sometimes a little bit more fun than the story packs. Not to say that the story packs are bad, but it's just the enjoyment from those character packs and seeing different characters collab in that parallel world has always been like a fun thing. So this is good to see because this wasn't like that before. Excluding the top 3 items, the rest were all tallied at a rate of 10% or less. Among them, Evil Castle content accounted for 78%. Please get rid of the daily, or not the daily, the reset, and just have it be an auto farm, where we just get the rewards. Categories corresponding to the in-game content, such as Mirror Wars, Last Night, Fiend Hunt, and Guild Raid, were at 5% or less. Taking this into account, I extracted the data separately for the so-called ancient players who have been with us since the very beginning, which is me, thinking they might have different ideas. Listen to this. However, their results displayed similar distributions to those of the entire play pool. So, I like what he did there. He said, let's see what our day 1 players think, because you would think they want more in-game stuff. What do they want exactly? Do they want like new gameplay modes? What is it? So, from ancient players to newcomers alike, we found that there is a preference for casual content and a desire for story progression. Now, this is actually a really good thing, and they're going to talk about this later. The progression of their story has gotten better, so now people are more interested in character packs and story packs, and overall have a preference for the casual content in the game versus like in-game content, right? So let's continue. Next, we have another one. Please select the type of new content you would like to see in the future updates. And here it is right here. We've got lifestyle, new minigame, and then social features. So we have the survey results on the new content you'd like to see in the future. First place goes to lifestyle content, including fishing and housing. Third place goes to plaza type content, where users can meet and interact with one another. We found that there was a strong demand for lifestyle content additions. Second place went to new minigames. Fiend Hunt Edge of Glory is content we're showcasing this time. However, many people expressed distress due to its challenging difficulty and troublesome controls on mobile devices. Going forward, we will keep in mind to develop minigames that you can enjoy more comfortably. If you provide more suggestions on Edge of Fury, we will apply them to future reruns. And just to let you know, we are preparing a fun new minigame for August update as well, so stay tuned. Another minigame coming in August. We were preparing, and here's the last part. We were preparing PvP material for our next battle content, but I was slightly taken aback because of the preference that came out for PvP was lower than expected. Currently, our direction for PvP, or for developing the PvP content, is to create an engaging experience for players who have fully experienced existing content. We'll provide you with more information to formulate the specific outline for this content. Now, I'm gonna be honest. This new PvP mode is going to be, it's most likely going to be essentially where you like take turns, because they've actually suggested this in their surveys. And what I mean by that is it's going to be turn-based. One turn for this character, another turn for that character. I'm almost positive. Could be wrong, but I think that's going to be the new PvP content. And when he talks about he's a little shocked at how low PvP was, I'm going to be honest. PvP is such an auto experience for people that sometimes even I forget to do it. Even though I get gems, I can literally get to Grandmaster in PvP, but I'll forget to do it, right? And it's just such an afterthought to all the other content that possibly with this new content, PvP might be something that people focus on more with this new content, because it sounds like it's going to be different from the game mode that we typically have with Browndust2, right? Okay, let's keep it going here. So the last thing here, the main reason you play Browndust2, 23% illustrations or 26% illustrations. And here's the rest, but let's go over it. Finally we have the questionnaire on why you play Browndust2. As expected, Illustrations took first place with a voting rate of 26%. By a narrow margin, Battle and Story took second and third place with 14 and 13 respectively. Battle is the core of the game system, so that was somewhat expected. It was impressive that Story took third, which is true, because Faded Guest was right behind it in fourth place. And typically that hasn't always been the case, followed by the game management in fifth place. We also divided the results by language. The results varied slightly, so we like to share them. So I translated the results, and I got an image here. So this is kind of funny. So here's the top 3 results for each region. In Korea, illustration, strategic combat, operation, and communication, which is game management. For English, illustration, combat, story. For CN, illustrations, Faded Guest, and operations. For Japan, illustration, story, strategic combat. So I'm gonna be real, and they point this out, but game communication is actually high up, which is really interesting, right? And everybody is like slightly different. Faded Guest is second for CN, so they really care about that. Obviously, all regions care about that. I would say fourth, if they were to do a fourth slot, it would be Faded Guest, obviously. But as you can see, like Korea's number 2 thing is combat, EN number 2 is combat, but JP is story, and combat is third for them. So it's really interesting to see, but let's see what the devs say. Overall, first place was the same, illustrations. There were slight differences in second and third place. In Korea, and CN survey game management and player targeted communication ranked third. In all mobile games that run live services, I think it's unusual that management and communications takes up a significant share of the reasons for playing a game. I would like to express my sincere gratitude once again to the members of the business department who are responsible for management and business. Apart from that, battle and story are ranked as second and third. One unusual thing was that Faded took second place in CN survey. It was evident that the interaction with Faded Guest had established itself as a main content in BD2, which is true, it has. Now, this is last year, so as you can see, 71% said I love illustrations. So let's see what he says. This table shows the results of the same survey conducted last October. I brought it up because it was a good comparison showing how the fans' perception has changed over the past 8 months. The last survey didn't allow multiple choices, so your answers were concentrated to the top spot, which was illustrations. Even still, it felt like 70% was too skewed to one side, which it was. In this survey, I was impressed to see that various elements as well as illustrations were considered strengths in our game. I also thought this change was a fortunate sign of service becoming healthier. We promise to basically keep up that satisfaction. Now, look at this. I enjoyed the story at 1.7%, bro. So basically what this means is that they've done a good job with the new content, right? They've done a good job with a lot of their changes. So honestly, good on Browndust2 for doing this, man. Honestly, really good to see. Now, something that I think is funny and got confirmed. Check this out. That's it for today. We'd like to provide info and offer an apology regarding leaked content. This leak occurred because the staff member in charge confused the timing of Swimsuit Therese rerun and the Swimsuit Prestige skin and made the incorrect upload to the resource folder. So, the video I made about the cow bikini from the leaker guy, it's been confirmed. The resource in question was not visible through the normal in-game pathway. However, it appears that some players have disassembled the client and leaked the included resources. In response to this incident, we gave a clear warning to the staff member. We've also improved the processing by adding a double checking procedure while uploading. So basically, it got leaked, it was true, and they also want to say that future leak schedules that people were claiming were leaked is just speculation, and it's not necessarily true at all. And they sincerely apologize, right? Now, again, pretty funny, but yeah, we should be getting Swimsuit Therese cow bikini prestige skin, unless they change it, but yeah, we'll see for August. They also mention second summer broadcast is going to be in August. In July, we presented an offbeat kind of fun with serious story. In contrast, we plan to be back in August with a bright, cheerful atmosphere unique to summer. So they'll be waiting in anticipation. And then they talk about offline events. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Insane stuff. Wow, we went through a lot, but I had to do the whole 30 minutes. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Final thoughts on this. For anybody shitting on Browndust2 for direction and story or direction in certain content, at the end of the day, the survey results speak for themselves. The fact that story interest went from 1% all the way up to character pack being at the top, story pack being at the top, combat being at the top. Now the top 4 is illustrations, story packs, both character and main story, and Faded Guest. Great. They've made a lot of improvements, and people have been in general enjoying everything, right? And we'll see what they do with the collab, right? But otherwise, we've got a lot of cool characters to look forward to, and yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Hopefully this wasn't too long, and if you made it here all the way through this, I appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I am out. I'll see you guys later.